The rescue of 4 more boys Monday took place as volunteers and first responders race against time to save the remaining members of the youth soccer team and their coach. After their rescue, the boys were rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors are keeping them under observation. The Thai mission commander says the boys at the hospital are well, but hungry.
This morning, they said they were hungry and asked for krapao rice, but they still need to be kept away from their parents and others due to fear of infection.
The rescue operation has so far moved at a pace of 4 per day following Sunday's break to replenish air tanks and give divers rest. Duke Speed, a former U.S. Marine, spent much of his career working in amphibious reconnaissance. An expert in confined space and high-risk diving operations, he says the rescue challenges both the diver and those stranded.
You're looking at 2.5 miles of confined space, low light conditions, and all the equipment considerations, as well as the physical effects on the divers and all the rescue forces and the boys themselves.
Rescue teams have so far succeeded in pumping water from the cave, but forecasters warn that monsoon rains are falling and could further complicate rescue efforts.
The ideal situation is to have less water. The more they can walk above the surface of the water, the better chance they're going to have. As water fills those spaces, now that adds the factor that you have to put the boys on compressed air and actually in a true diving situation.
The rescue operation has already claimed the life of one Thai Navy SEAL who drowned Friday on his return swim after dropping air tanks along the escape route in the cave. With 4 boys and their coach still underground, the race against the elements keeps pressure high for a speedy extraction when rescue efforts resume on Tuesday.
Ongoing mountain runoffs from the daily rains in the caverns of Tam Luang Cave have hampered rescue efforts. The U.S. Pacific Command has arrived to help, exploring all possible options for the quickest extraction of those trapped.
The rain is unpredictable, but then you also have the human element, 24-hour operations. It's amazing to see, the Thai authorities coming together and all the volunteers here supporting the rescue operation.
The relief area has grown with each day as volunteers cook meals and offer supplies to the growing crowds.
I want to give energy and support for the rescue teams that are going inside the caves since I can't go in and help them myself.
But the urgency of draining the water using high voltage pumps has brought with it injuries for some of the inexperienced workers. It's a stressful time for all coming to grasp with the crisis, including local teacher Churchu Pampanya, who taught 6 of the students.
At school, we're letting the students meditate and pray and giving each other support for the missing students.
As the nation digs in to help, the hope for a successful rescue remains in the hearts of the people.
Thai Navy SEAL officers, including medics, made their way through murky waters deep into the cave where the boys and their coach have been trapped for 10 days. Officials say the boys have weakened in the cave, which makes the rescue efforts more difficult.
If the water level goes down, the kids will be able to walk out from the front of the cave. If not, they might have to dive. If they dive, we will have to use a full mask, which we are waiting for now.
Diving through several kilometers of floodwater is hard even for experienced divers, but these boys would need to learn to dive and also build the strength for the dangerous journey.
The minimum requirement to train someone just in the breathing apparatus would be 3 days. But I would suggest that these children or these kids are then going into a very extreme sort of environment where water, it's moving water, it's dirty water, and the distances are to the extremes.
The rescue efforts currently are focused on getting divers to take food and other supplies to the 13 trapped in case they have to stay in the cave until the monsoon season ends, which is in September. A U.S. servicewoman says rescuers are looking for the safest option.
So this is Thailand, and what is the best course of action to extract these children in the safest way possible? Because that really is paramount. When you think about it, they've been isolated, dark, no food. there's not only like physiological considerations, but probably psychological considerations.
A Thai school soccer team and their coach had cycled to the 10-kilometer-long cave after a training session and got trapped inside by heavy monsoon rains. Early rescue efforts were hampered by the rising floodwater.
Families and friends held vigils and stood firm as the search for the missing team entered its third day here in northern Thailand. It was a sleepless weekend for many of the parents gathered together under a shared canopy, waiting for word of their loved ones.
All the people here are very sad, and they come to support each other, cooking food and sharing with all the family and relatives of the missing kids.
Rescuers teams have been working non-stop to reach areas in the cave now surrounded by rising water levels from the rains. An opening above the caves was discovered about 3 kilometers from the cave entrance, raising hopes for food drops soon.
Right now we are worried about the kids inside, about the air and the rising water levels. But what we know is the kids are athletes, football players. They have strength, and they are used to the cave as they have gone in and out 4 or 5 times.
Football has long been one of the sports favored by the community, and for head coach Naparata Kantawong, who missed the weekend practice, it's the team's strong bond that will save the group.
Their teamwork is very strong. Definitely they have this bond. And the leadership of the assistant coach will hold them together. My assistant lived and worked with me since we formed the team. He has got a good relationship, and the team loves him very much.
As the search continues deep inside the huge caverns, many are confident that the football team will be rescued before the weekend, as time runs out. Steve Sanford reporting from Chiang Rai, Thailand.
Emergency vehicles arrive at a hospital in Thailand after the first successful rescues of soccer team members trapped in a cave. Thai Navy SEALs confirm more than a dozen divers safely returned from the operations. The rescue effort paused for the night, but with rain in the forecast and oxygen levels in the cave dropping, the stakes are high for those still trapped below. The acting governor and mission commander said at a news conference that rescue efforts are on hold for about 10 hours, but added that the operation is going better than expected. Retired U.S. Marine Duke Speed spent half of his 20-year career working in amphibious reconnaissance. He is an expert in confined space, high-risk diving operations. He says the rescue pause is a matter of logistics.
They're going to need to, recharge those tanks that were positioned along the route. So that would mean actually getting those tanks out of the cave, recharging them, with compressed air. And the other thing might be that, just letting those divers that just completed the operation, get some rest.
Thai Navy SEALs lost one of their own Friday during an early rescue effort. Saman Gunan dropped spare air tanks along the escape route of the cave, but he ran out of air and drowned on his swim to the surface. This video, released by Thai Navy SEALs, shows the 12 boys and their coach trapped in the cave since June 23rd. The boys and their 25-year-old coach wandered too far into the underground labyrinth before fast-rising water cut off their only exit. SEAL divers found the team alive on July 2nd. Since then, special operations teams, rescue workers, and volunteers have been trying to get them out. Sunday marked the first successful rescue operation.